some people in their pursuit of ego-driven, material-based goals in this world, they've lost a bit of the purity of their own hearts, and they've lost their way in terms of being centered in God and God's plan. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's a process we all have to go through as individuals at some point when you're beginning to vibrate higher. You know what I'm trying to say? Learning to let others go. You know, and it can be hard, especially when those people are your friends and when they're your family members. For questions, comments, and to show your support, visit us on the web at afroempath.com. I've lost a lot of people that I've considered friends, but ultimately what I realize is that, God is an eternal friend. You know what I'm trying to say? And when you find that within your soul, when you connect with your own soul, your own God spark, it brings you a certain amount of peace and comfort and strength in this world. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. To attract the right types of friends. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I didn't know early on in my life that I was probably around the wrong types of people for me. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And I think as empaths, it takes a while for us to figure out that we're different and that we need to be around people like us. And I think a lot of times we compromise, and seek people that are really not on our vibration. And I think we can almost use those people in our lives as an excuse. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I believe that because I too got caught up with friends that are narcissistic and don't really care. And I know that they don't really care, but it's like I'm trying to get them to care. I try to get them to care, and I see over and over again that they don't really care. They're caught up in their own world. They don't care, and I still will reach out to them and even invite them somewhere and hang out with them and stuff like that, and they don't care. Some people don't pick up the phone to ask you how you're doing. They might just call you to just tell you all the shit that they're going through at that moment.
To use you.
And then when they hang up the phone, you don't really hear from them again until that problem again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas I'm the type of person, I still will reach out to the person. How are you doing? Sometimes I don't even get an answer. Waste of energy, waste of time.
Correct, exactly. And I think that has to do ultimately is with us being afraid to go within and to be alone. Again, every person that reaches some type of enlightenment in any kind of story, from any kind of culture, there's always a moment where they have a long period of being alone and being isolated. You know what I'm saying? In a time of introspection. So that's and
I like to share.
Yeah, of course.
Even if it's not like food or something,
Yeah, I understand.
Experiences.
Of course.
If I'm gonna go have fun, I wanna share that fun with somebody else.
I hear you. I'm not saying that's the way it should be. That's the way life should be. But unfortunately, again, the whole having your cup run over. Your cup runneth over. You gotta in order to be able to share, you gotta have something to give. That's love you're sharing, really, right? And so sometimes when you're sharing with the wrong people, their cups in this they've lost all sight of God and God's plan, and they become worldly. Mm-hmm. And you're given the little bit of love you have in your tank, and your tank's on damn E. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So we need time for introspection to re-energize from the world, and to re-energize and find the love of God within our own self. I want to talk a little bit about narcissism, because there's a note that I wrote here last night when I was sleeping. I had a it's not an epiphany. I've had the thought before, but this is something that a theory that I have that I want to kind of run by you and see what you think about. Think of it. It deals with empaths kind of. I'm not going to say attraction to narcissists, but I'll say why we kind of why we tend to gravitate towards them. You know what I'm trying to say? maybe not knowing. I think that by giving up, okay, I'll put it this way. Me, myself, through a process of, like I keep saying, of knowledge and action, pain, introspection, and wisdom, this is what I feel is also like the path towards godhood or Christhood, you know what I'm saying? Knowledge of the world, and then action, to fight, to stop what you see as an injustice. And then that'll bring you pain, you know what I'm saying? In Christ's example, it was, he saw things were happening in the world that were bad. He took action, it could be, running through temples. Then he was found out as being the king of the Jews, and they made a mockery of him. That crucifixion was pain. And then he had introspection that could be, being in the cave, with a rock over it. And then he had wisdom, ultimately the wisdom was to help. That wisdom showed him a new way of doing things, and allowed him to let go of the world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Meaning, after he became the Christ, he wasn't going to go back and run through the temple with a sword. You know what I'm saying? Or flip over the money changers tables. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the point is that he went through a process of knowledge, action, pain, introspection, and wisdom, subsequent wisdom, to free himself of humanity, right? And of human thought, and of human drive to even make the world, the current world, a better place. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He realized that ultimately through that process that he had to seek a new world. You know what I'm saying? That the current world was not something worth stressing about because it was coming to an end. Mm-hmm. I feel that people that are narcissistic, what they do is that they skip the whole process of the whole process I spoke about of the knowledge, action, pain, introspection, and wisdom. They skip that process of enlightenment, and they go right to ending their humanity and not caring. You know what I'm trying to say? And by doing that, that gives them a certain amount of power. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. It's a quick power. It doesn't last very long. Kind of like our nation, mm-hmm. It comes quick. It doesn't last very long. But what I'm trying to make is that if you give up your humanity and you're willing to become an animal and do anything to get ahead and hurt anybody and wrong anybody and cut anybody and, you know what I'm trying to say, backstab anybody and, you know what I'm trying to say? Mm. You can get ahead in this world. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to tell you? You can get ahead in this world, but the thing is that you're giving up. There's a certain process of enlightenment, meaning allowing your soul, enlightening your soul and coming in touch with God and God's plan, that you're giving up by doing that and skipping those processes. You know what I'm trying to say? And humbling yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Because Christ had to humble himself, right, to a new way of doing things. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. He was, he still had his own fears, but he still had to humble himself, and we all have to humble ourselves. Now, a narcissistic person, they just said, "Oh, screw all that." You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just gonna get what's mine. You know what I'm trying to say? And they become highly effective in the world, and then they begin to build egos based upon their highly effective narcissistic nature. You know what I'm trying to say? And look down upon those who are going through the slower process of finding enlightenment through a knowledge of self and a knowledge of God. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is that like there are people that in this world that I know personally, having friends that I've looked at as if I don't know. I there's some people I miss. You know what I'm trying to say? There's some people in my life that I miss that are friends. You know what I'm saying? That were friends. That were friends.
Me too. Yeah.
But I've seen that they've taken a narcissistic path. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like I know a part of them wants me to envy them. You know what I'm trying to say? Or does it make sense? Yeah. Yeah. And part of me doesn't necessarily envy them, but part of me actually has anger towards them. I hate them a little bit, like because they took the easy way out. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. They took the easy way out, man. They stopped caring. They stopped seeking knowledge. You know what I'm trying to say? They stopped seeking justice in the world. They stopped seeking. You know what I'm trying to say? They stopped seeking freedom and truth. So it's like it makes me angry because they there's a side of them that wants to be domineering over me. You know what I'm trying to say? And
Yep.
that has latched on to this kind of demonic demiurge spirit that is presiding over the earth currently, you know? But with that said, they know deep down inside that this world is something that they know deep down inside that spirit is going to end, and that I'm gonna be the one that is going to be the person that rises in this world. You know what I'm trying to say? And that I'll never fall. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I've built myself up from the ground up. You know what I'm trying to say? And I've rebuilt myself, and I've perfected myself through a process of alchemy. Meanwhile, their alchemy has been just on a human level. You know what I'm trying to say? Of doing what the white man told them to do, and keeping their nose out of trouble, quote unquote, in terms of, oh, don't listen to these radical Negroes. You know what I'm trying to say? Don't oppose any kind of agendas that we may have. Just make sure you're getting your money. Make sure you have a nice house. Make sure you have a nice wife, and have plenty of vacations. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You feel the same way or what?
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. They get caught up in, and then it's draining because it's hard to let them go too.
Yeah, when they're your friends. You know what I'm trying to say? This is not we're not talking about Trump here. We're talking about our friend or people that were once our friends, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to let them go because there are some qualities that you see in them that you like, and that you know there's a little bit of potential there still.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you may try so hard to kind of let them see, but it doesn't even make sense. Like it ends up draining you, and
exactly. And
they're looking for something that you're not looking for, and
bingo.
You may start looking like a fool to them, and it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And the truth is that now I'm humble, but at the same time, there's a part of them that looks like a fool to me. But at the same time, I'm not, you know what I'm trying to say? But I'm not egotistical enough generally to tell them that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But they know it. And part of them, I think, wants to teeter on the damn line. It kind of tight walk the damn line between serving God's will and serving their own shells and their own humanity. You know what I'm trying to say?
It doesn't work.
And their own egos. It doesn't work. Exactly. It doesn't work. It says in the Bible, you can't serve two masters, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's why I feel like I got to separate from these people, because if I'm always around them, I'm going to be like an enabler for them, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, if you see a freaking dude that's a junkie, you know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. You don't give him your you're not going to give him your money if he knows he's going to go buy drugs. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. You're not going to lend him a place in your basement. You know what I'm trying to say? If you know he's going to just do the same shit he's been doing. Now there are people that are junkies to the world, and they're addicted to the world and the pleasures of the world, and the finite things of the world. Now we still have bodies. I'm not saying you should damn starve, but the point is that some people, in their pursuit of, you know, ego-driven, you know, material-based goals in this world, they've lost a bit of the purity of their own hearts, and they've lost their way in terms of being centered in God and God's plan. So I guess it's a process we all have to go through as individuals at some point when you're beginning to vibrate higher. You know what I'm trying to say? Learning to let others go. You know, and it can be hard, especially when those people are your friends and when they're your family members.
Yeah, this reminds me of a time when Lauryn Hill was going through what they were saying in the media as like some mental problem.
Yeah,
and
mental breakdown. They always try to say that. Yeah, they always try to say that.
She came out with an album, and I got the album, and I sat and I played it, and that album, it just blew me away. And I got so deep into what she was saying, and the people that were around me at the time, did not understand. They were saying that she's crazy.
It was unplugged. The MTV Unplugged thing she did. Yeah.
They were saying she was crazy. They're saying like, oh, this is not her best album. Like, they're totally not seeing the point.
Wow.
And I almost had a nervous breakdown myself, trying to stick up for the woman and like explain things, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. And I found that I took that thing on. I felt, I was feeling her words. I was hearing everything that she was saying, and nobody was listening. The people around me couldn't get it. And it bothered me. It kind of made me feel depressed. You know, like I was so like, and even to this day, like that's why I try to stay off of, like, one time, I guess somebody made a bad comment about her, and I responded to the comment. And I don't even like responding to comments, but it's something to do with her. It's like I could feel like I felt where she was at the time, like, and nobody understood. The way they were talking about her was like, she's crazy. Oh, this is not her best album, or this album wasn't that great. Like, and I'm thinking, listen to the word, listen to what she's trying to tell you. And there's people.
Yeah, even though what she's saying to anybody with any bit of intelligence, I should say emotional intelligence, is some of the most beautiful, like, heart-wrenching, like, raw emotional, like, lyrics and melodies. They're not going to listen to it with their heart. They're listening. You know what I'm trying to say? They become so emotionally stupid that everything has to have a big thump and beat behind it. People that are weak are going to dislike you because you'll actually become an inconvenience for them with this truth type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you as an individual become an inconvenience because of truth to other people in your life, but those people also still want your love. Does that make sense?
They do.
Yeah, but we've said on the show before, and I'll say it again, that you cannot have love without truth. What they want is for you to mute your truth, you know what I'm saying, and suppress your truth, right?
Yeah.
Not just your truth, the truth. You know what I'm saying? Now there's different degrees of truth. We understand that, but now, if I have to be around somebody that I have to suppress my truth with, or the truth with, in terms of, you know, it could be anything from our history to spirituality to, you know, just social issues, you know, if I feel as if I have to suppress that around certain people, that truth of those things, I'm also having to suppress my love around those people. Maybe he'll get it one day, or maybe he won't get it, but I'm just gonna be the best friend or the best brother or the, you know, whatever that I can be. But I realized that I can't be the best person that I can be if I can't be myself around them.
It's true.
I've noticed that I have to almost like brace myself to be around certain people. And these are people that are, you know, family members even. So I kind of accepted that. That's just maybe, okay, I'll just have to brace myself for encounters for the rest of my life. Then I realized, you know what? These people made choices to be the fucking way they are. I can choose not to be around these people. I can choose not to have to brace myself for these encounters. I can choose to be around people that are like-minded and like-hearted. And I think I'd rather live that way.
Yeah.
If you or anyone you know would be interested in spiritual life coaching from a fellow empath, email afroempath@gmail.com or visit afroempath.com for more information.